Can you hear that?
No, I know, just calm down. Just calm down. Calm down. Just hold my hand. Alright. Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Oh my God!
Out in remote places, danger does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it starts with a scream across the water or a strange noise inside an abandoned building. But when those sounds lead to real life or death moments, would you move closer or get out while you still can? On a calm morning along the St. Louis River near the Boy Scout landing boat ramp, a man named David launched his kayak by himself. His Channel Jones Outdoors follows solo fishing trips on open water. That day, the wind rose quickly. The waves began moving fast. Then, from somewhere across the river, he heard something that made everything stop the scream of a child.
Okay. Well, your dad's back there, but I'm gonna bring you in the shore, okay? I know, just calm down, Calm down, just hold my hand. Alright, you can't pull right now, just hold on a second.
I need to get to my dad.
Okay, but I'm gonna bring you over to land, okay? You don't have to worry about the current taking you out. Just listen to me, what's your name? EJ, okay? So what we're gonna do right now, I have to figure out a way to get you up and out without bringing all the water in, okay? Can you do that for me? Can I get you to shore?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really need it.
Yep, okay. So,
really need it.
can you do that for me?
Yes.
You're strong, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I just need to be strong for a few more seconds. All right?
And what's this?
Oh, that's my minnow bucket. There's fathead minnows in there, okay? All right, so I'm gonna try to back us up.
Yeah, I know it. And I've been screaming it for a long time.
I know, yep.
And he was not listening.
I know. Can you hold on, keep holding on like that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. How old are you?
I can't remember.
You can't remember? Are you that old?
The kind of sound no parent ever wants to hear. A young boy had been carried away by the current. He had already been in the water for a while, yelling for his father who was on the opposite riverbank. No matter how hard the boy called out, his father could not hear him. David saw the boy struggling in the water. He cut his fishing line, started his kayak, and headed toward him. The boy reached the kayak and grabbed onto its side. David chose not to pull him fully into the boat, concerned that doing so could flood it or make it unstable. Instead, he kept the boy holding onto the side and paddled toward the nearest dock. As they moved across the water, the boy said he was getting cold. That worried David. He had no way of knowing how long the child had already been in the river.
Yep. I think he unhooked his anchor and then he just got blown away in the current, which made
Strong enough.
Yeah, you can do it. You've been swimming in the current for so long. Can you? Or you need some help?
Up and out of the water with the tide.
Yeah, are you still really, really cold?
Yeah, he's colder.
Good job. Yeah, hold on. Let me get this off.
That's why. Where was he?
I think he got blown away over there. Come on, let's see if we can find somebody to get you a napkin. Here, let me get you.
I should use it by the water.
Yeah.
I should.
You doing good?
Yeah.
Still cold?
Yeah.
Come on, let's see if somebody's home. Hi, do you have any towels on him? His dad left him stranded out in the middle of the river. Yeah, and he's saying he's feeling cold. I was just somebody that was fishing, but I want to make sure that he's fine. Then we're going to call 911. We got to make sure you're doing okay so you don't have hypothermia or something like that sitting there. Why don't you want to call 911? Are you scared?
Yes, I don't want to.
It's okay. We just got to get you on and make sure you're getting checked out.
No.
All right.
I don't want 911, please.
Okay, come on over here, bud.
Yep, so he's got you a towel.
It's going right there.
Where was he in the?
Yeah, he was in the bay. When I came up fishing, his dad was right next to him.
Yeah.
Maybe 30, 40 yards west or east of the ramp there. And the current just swept him all the way out here.
Oh.
And his dad
There's
was...
actually 2 people drowned here in that same spot last year.
I thought his dad was coming because his dad has the sailboat right there, and he's still not coming. So hasn't came in and checked in on him. So we just got to make sure we get you warm and that you're going to be okay, because we don't...
I want one.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. We're going to get you all fixed up here, Jack.
Yeah.
When they reached the dock, David took him to a nearby house and asked for a towel. The boy was shaking. Emergency services were called so he could be checked and hypothermia could be ruled out. When the father finally arrived, his response caught everyone off guard.
David.
Very pleased to meet you.
Yep.
Sounds like he was a bit nervous.
Well, he was screaming, and it was like, I looked back to see where you were at, and you were a couple hundred yards away, and then there was somebody else that had a boat and heard him screaming, but then they went past him because the people had told him that dad was in the water over here. So I'm like, they're gonna go get him, and they didn't. They just drove past him, and then he started screaming even louder. So then I just cut my line, and he grabbed onto the side of my kayak, and I just made sure that he could hold on long enough, because I was gonna try to lift him up in the kayak, but I told myself if I do that, there was gonna be too much water that's gonna come inside. So then that's why I had him. So I just had him hold on to the side. I'm gonna try to paddle to get him in. Then he starts telling me that he's shivering, so I'm like, I don't know if the kid, how long he was in the water, or if he could have hypothermia. So I was like, I'm just gonna call EMS, have them check him out. And then I was happy I did come here because they were here.
I'm very thankful of that. First I say 1,000 and then thank yous.
Yep.
That saved me a bunch of hassle.
Yeah.
Because the river takes him a little bit, and I said,
Yeah.
you got this. We've been in this before.
Yep.
And I tried to get him with the boat, and of course the wind's picking up.
Yep.
So it just whoosh right across the river.
Yep.
So I had to try and walk it back. That is super slow.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Yep.
Once again, thank you. And we might be seeing each other again.
Okay.
He did not seem panicked. He showed no clear sign of fear. The boy had been alone in the current the entire time, and the person who saved him was a stranger who simply happened to be fishing nearby. His father had been close the whole time, yet the boy still drifted far before anyone reached him. Sometimes the person nearest to danger is not the one who responds first. What do you think made the difference that day? In March 2022, YouTuber and urban explorer Jared Coker uploaded a video to his channel showing his visit to an abandoned dog food factory in Wichita, Kansas. His channel usually focuses on forgotten and off-limits locations nationwide. At first, the trip appeared routine. It was not. Jared had explored the factory before. This time, he entered through the same access point he had used previously.
Ah, yes, there she is. It's legit crazy just being back here. I guess for the second time, we'll start in this building. Okay, I'm in, but I'm like hearing noises and stuff. It might just be the wind.
Moving through the first building and into the area beyond. Early in the visit, he began hearing sounds he could not identify. He kept going anyway. As he moved farther into the property, the atmosphere changed.
Oh, locker room. See, that's what I'm talking about. Every now and then there's just weird noises and bang. To the rest of the factory, the larger 5-story part. I'm actually really scared of running into people here, no joke. That's where I saw a couple guys walk in the first video. We'll go see if the window I used to get in the first time is still open. I've been through here the first time. It's mostly just kind of old parts and stuff again. Well, they barred that entrance off. Because when you're standing dead center here, you're just kind of surrounded on all sides by giant factory parts. I'm gonna go right through that window again.
The noises continued, and a stronger sense of unease settled over the place. Somewhere, on the outer gate, someone had spray-painted a warning about deadly force being used. Jared saw it, but he continued inside.
Here we are. It looks just as cool as I remembered from here. Let's say it's time to go into the creepy part, the part where it's all pitch black and burnt down. Here's the area with all the parts and pieces all on the shelves, just mechanical. Like I said, this place is crazy. It just surprises me everywhere I turn. Uh-oh. There's a car right there.
On the upper floor of the second building, he noticed a car pulling up to the main entrance. A man stepped out and opened the gate. At first it seemed manageable. Jared thought he could slip out through another way before being noticed.
I can't figure that should be too much of a problem for me though, because the way I'm going to go out is completely circling around here like I did to get in, so they're coming in the gate. On second thought, I might just want to wrap this up a little quicker here. I want to see where he goes though. Yeah, if I'm going to leave here, I'm going to need to know exactly where he's headed towards. Oh crap. He's really coming all the way in here. He's opening the second gate. Now I'm really concerned. He's gonna go around where I can't see him. Huh. I really do gotta get out of here now.
Then the man opened a second gate and moved deeper onto the property. Jared understood he needed to leave immediately. He made his way back down through the building trying to locate the man before choosing an exit. From a room with several windows, he saw him again. This time, the man appeared to be holding something.
What do I do? I couldn't tell what he was holding. Oh my God. Was that a gunshot? I think it was.
A moment later, a sharp crack echoed through the space. Jared believed it was a gunshot. He moved quickly, trying to find a way out without crossing the man's path. He did not make it in time.
I can't see him anywhere. To avoid. Yeah. I don't know for sure. But I think we just have to go for it. Whoa, whoa.
Stop right there.
Whoa.
Who else wouldn't you?
Oh, it's just me. It scared me to death.
Okay, get over there now.
What?
Sit down. Give you handcuffs.
Huh?
Put them on. Got it?
Okay.
You like to put them on, you can put them on. Take your pick.
I've never put on handcuffs before.
Just put them on each side of you. How's that? What's going to happen is the police is going to come, and then you take your name and they'll get you for criminal trespassing. It's a lot better than me shooting you, isn't it?
Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
What you shoot at?
Shoot it. See people I shoot at. If they run, you shoot. There you go.
The man confronted him directly, made him sit down, and put handcuffs on him. He spoke openly about being willing to shoot anyone he found on the property, apparently not realizing Jared's camera was still recording.
Don't you see? Something says use of deadly force. What do you think that is?
I thought that was kid spray.
Somebody else is with you, right?
No, it's just me.
Okay, if I see somebody, I'm going to end up probably shooting them.
Oh no, I would have gotten him.
Okay, I just don't want, they scare me. I'm sorry, it's just life. What we're going to do is we'll throw your camera and your bag in the trunk, okay? We'll get in a little red cart, we'll just drive up here, get everything out, police will come, they'll ask you for your driver's license, and they'll give you a little ticket.
The footage eventually stopped as Jared was taken to the man's vehicle to wait for police. When officers arrived, they handled the situation and prepared to give Jared a trespassing citation. In the background, two teenage boys were walking toward the factory. The man told the officers directly that he would shoot anyone else he found there. The police left with Jared. The man stayed behind. Later that same evening, he returned to the property, found the two teenagers, and fired 6 shotgun rounds at them. Both boys survived and were taken to a hospital. The man, later identified as 64-year-old Kenny Lee Thomas, the factory's owner, was charged and convicted on 2 counts of aggravated battery. He received 2 years of probation. The threats had been made openly in front of law enforcement with every warning sign present. The officers left anyway. What makes this case unusual is that the worst harm happened after police were already involved and after a direct warning had been ignored. Whether that changes how the situation should have been handled is something people still debate. Do you think the outcome would have been different if the officers had acted on what they heard? The next video is from Tyson Piers, an outdoor creator known for building survival shelters, developing camp projects, and taking on real wilderness challenges. The footage was filmed at his TNT bushcraft camp on July 25th, 2020, somewhere in Canada.
Put out the fence, so we brought these special tools today.
Is that a thunder?
I think so.
I think it's gonna rain. If it rains, we can put our bags under the shelter and we're gonna be all good.
The conditions were already rough before anything went wrong. The heat was intense, the work was demanding, and the campsite was completely exposed. There was no shelter overhead, and the crew was building a fence when warning signs appeared in the distance. Thunder started building in the background while they were still working. At first, it seemed like it might only bring rain. Nothing too dangerous. The team continued with the project, but the weather changed quickly. In only a few minutes, the rain intensified and the temperature fell. The environment shifted faster than they could react. The important part was not just the storm itself, it was the speed of the change. There was almost no warning between normal conditions and dangerous ones.
It's 45 degrees outside, extremely hot, and yeah.
Oh shit!
Yo! You should have seen those trees just moving around.
The wind became the biggest issue. Trees around the camp began swaying violently. Branches started breaking close by. The storm no longer felt like something passing in the distance. It was happening around them, and the camp was being hit in real time.
It's 45 degrees outside. I think my shelter's gonna break.
Holy shit! Oh my god! This is unreal! Oh my god! Yo! No.
Then the rain came down hard. Water began collecting across the ground. Visibility got worse. Moving around became harder. By then, the fence project was abandoned. Finishing the build no longer mattered.
It's 45 degrees outside, extremely hot.
Yo, il y a un non même pas de pluie en plus.
Je sais.
Bushcraft gone wrong.
We're absolutely not safe here.
Getting out safely did. They said out loud that staying was no longer sensible. That became the turning point, not one huge cinematic moment, but the simple realization that the situation had moved beyond their control. The danger was the speed. First heat, then thunder, then pressure on the trees, then flooding. One problem replaced the next before they had time to respond. Sometimes the real threat is not the storm itself. It is how quickly everything changes before you understand that it is time to move. What would you have done differently if you had been there that day? This video was posted on May 1st, 2022, by a climbing documentation channel known as ITCOG. This specific footage follows climbers as they make their way toward the summit of Mount Everest, the highest place on Earth, through some of the harshest conditions found anywhere on the planet. The video follows a group of climbers from different countries as they move toward Everest's upper sections. The route takes everything from the severe, cold, unstable ground and altitude so high the body begins struggling to work properly. Simple actions that would feel easy lower down become slow and exhausting at that height. Some members of the group were able to reach higher camps or even the summit when conditions allowed. Others could not finish the climb. At one point, a climber carefully crossing a narrow ridge noticed something below, just off the route. Lying still in the snow was a figure unmoving, partly covered. At that elevation, extreme cold and dangerously low oxygen mean even a small mistake can become fatal very quickly. He had not made it. The footage does not stay on the image for long, but it is difficult to forget. Everest attracts climbers from around the world because of its scale, its challenge, and views that exist nowhere else. But beneath that pull is a mountain completely outside human comfort. More than 200 bodies are still on Everest. Most will never be recovered from the ice, the rock, or the death zone. Every person left on that mountain was once someone who got farther than most people ever could. up there, the distance between reaching the summit and never returning can be dangerously thin. What do you think it really takes to choose a climb like this, knowing what you know? This video was posted on November 13th, 2025, by a solo camping channel called UK Carrie Outdoors. The channel follows Carrie as she camps in different forests and outdoor places, sometimes from her car and other times in a tent. In this video, she went back to a woodland spot she had already visited, but this time the night felt different. Going back to a familiar location gave her comfort and made setup feel simple. She knew the way in, knew where to place the tent, and had no reason to think the night would feel different than it had before.
I've camped here before quite a few times. If I'm going out and it's like late in the day and the light's against me, if I'm heading somewhere familiar, I'm definitely going to find somewhere for the tent. I know exactly the route in, exactly where I'm heading. Tonight is just all about having such a chilled,
She pitched the tent and settled in, but the darkness arrived quicker than expected. She had just positioned the camera to record footage when a noise came from somewhere in the woods.
Well, it is now 7:20, so it's less than an hour. I don't know if my camera picked that up, but I don't know what that was, but that was scary. I think it's a deer or something in the woods. That was quite scary. It's really dark already, so less than an hour from when I arrived, and I've already lost daylight, so it's pretty dark. I'm out in the Banshee tonight. I haven't used this since I got it, so I'm really excited to sleep in this because I love this tent. So yeah, looking forward to spending my first night.
She told herself it was likely a deer moving between the trees and tried to ignore it, but the sounds kept happening. Each one pulled her attention back toward the tree line.
When I tell you there's some really strange noises going on in the woods tonight, and even though the rational part of your brain is saying, oh, it's the deer, it really does set your anxiety off. It's so dark. Obviously I'm relying on the head torch, but I've heard some really, really crazy noises which I've tried to pick up on camera for you guys. I'm logical about it. And there's another thing, being in the middle of the woods in the dark and hearing it. It's a totally different experience, I'm not gonna lie. Can you hear that? I mean, what is it so angry about? What are you chatting about, dude? It's crazy because whether I was here or not, those noises would be going on. It's really, and I've said this earlier on in my video, but it's really hard to hear stuff like that and think rationally. I know what it is. I know what it is. But at the same time, it sounds so creepy. It's gone quiet now. You see, it's really hard not to overthink everything when you're out. You hear little noises that normally you probably, but when you're just sat here, look how dark it is, I'm looking into pure darkness of a woods. And then you hear noises, you're like, what was that? What was that? Constantly.
The explanation she kept repeating did not do much to calm the unease growing around her. She stayed in the woods until morning and left without being harmed. The night never became dangerous, but it stayed with her. The forest itself had not changed between visits, but the way she experienced it had changed completely. That space between knowing something is probably harmless and actually feeling safe is wider than most people realize. Have you ever returned to somewhere familiar, only for it to feel completely different after dark? This clip was uploaded by a TikTok user who records solo night hikes through wooded areas. On this particular walk, the forest was quiet at first, but it did not stay that way for long. He was moving alone through the trees when sudden screaming cut through the silence. Instead of retreating from the sound, he headed toward it. Beside a tree, he found where it was coming from. A figure was crouched there oddly, formed unsettlingly human in shape, and still making the same disturbing screams. It did not resemble any animal he recognized. After the video was shared, viewers were divided over what it showed. Some believed it was a person wearing a costume placed in the woods to frighten hikers. Others were not fully convinced. The figure's look and behavior did not fit that explanation cleanly. He did not stay to investigate. As soon as he understood what he was looking at, he ran. The figure never chased him. He escaped unharmed, but if whatever was there had chosen to come after him, the encounter could have ended very differently. No one knows if it was a prank, an animal, or something else. What is harder to explain is why it stayed there screaming. What do you think it really was? This video comes from Suffolk Camper, a solo camping channel in the United Kingdom focused on stealth overnight camps in quiet, remote countryside locations. The date is April 28, 2026, and the place is St. Mary the Virgin Church in Clopton, Suffolk, United Kingdom. Once complete darkness settles in, the camper steps out of the tent and walks farther into the graveyard. He points out that even though he has slept in cemeteries before, this particular location feels different. That detail matters because the discomfort starts before anything specific takes place. The churchyard becomes quieter, the darkness closes in, and his attention is drawn toward the older Gothic sections of the grounds.
This place seems so much friendlier during the day, but when it's lights out, it gets a bit spookier. See, I can't read any of these. Nice flowers though. These haven't been tended to for many, many years. These are people long forgotten about. Probably been decades.
Later, he walks into the stone church porch and knocks on the locked wooden door, then stands still and waits. Nothing answers, but the silence afterwards seems to take on its own weight, leaving the impression that something beyond the door might be listening.
Really quite strongly. I wasn't here before. I can really suddenly smell like manure, really quite strongly. There's my tent. Maybe there's a farmer spreading muck like late at night or something. I don't know. I'm going to put this away and I'll see you guys soon, alright? I'll see you in a bit.
Hey, how's it going?
Back near the tent, a strong and unexpected smell moves through the area. It had not been present earlier. Its sudden arrival in an otherwise still environment immediately stands out and feels difficult to ignore.
Thought I heard something. Definitely feel creeped out around here sometimes. I just want to check around with a torch actually, because I sworn I heard something. Maybe I'm just being paranoid.
Nothing clearly appears, and there is no major frightening moment. But a dark graveyard, a light that suddenly fails, and a smell that comes from nowhere together that is enough to let the imagination take control. When visibility disappears, the mind starts filling in what could be hiding nearby. Was the light failure only bad timing, or did it cut out at the worst possible moment? And if you were standing in that porch, knocking on that door, and waiting in silence, what do you think you would have heard? This video comes from Austin Schrock, an outdoor creator whose content focuses on wilderness navigation, survival challenges, and technical cave exploration in isolated backcountry areas. The date is April 10th to 11th, 2026 in Rusk County, Wisconsin, United States. After enduring a freezing night outdoors, Austin begins moving toward a set of hidden cave coordinates, relying on compass bearings and natural features in the terrain to keep himself en route. The farther he gets from the ATV trail, the more the environment tightens around him.
There, so a little bit of a cavern. Well, it's not really looking like much. You can tell over the years, giant chunks of these rocks broke off and fell down the face here. I could have easily buried it. The only thing harder than climbing across this jumbled mess of rocks is doing it with a pack on and holding a phone with the other hand. I don't know how deep it has to be considered a cave, but I don't think that's a cave. Well, there's some neat features along here. So far, no cave. I've been moving laterally on the side of this cliff Walk along it, see if I can see anything from down there. Well, this is the closest thing I've found to a cave so far. It's not very big, it goes down in. I think it just dead ends down in there. I'm gonna take my pack off and go down in there and see what we can find.
Changing into steep, heavily wooded ground with no obvious path ahead. Once he enters the cave, things become dangerous almost right away. While working through a frozen section of the passage, his foot becomes trapped between rocks, stopping him completely inside the tight space.
I have to back out. I might get stuck. Ow. Man, I'm about to get down my belly to see from here. Alright, belly crawl, here we go. Yeah, seems like it did. I heard a hissing sound. Anyway, so that narrow part there probably goes back in 10 feet. About the furthest I can get back in there. And it dead ends. Alright. Well, there wasn't a sign here saying this is the Five Guys cave. Thing I have found there. So I'm gonna call it the cave. Success.
Just as he gets ready to leave the chamber, he suddenly stops. A clear hissing sound is coming from somewhere farther inside the cave system. No source is ever identified, but the sound changes the feeling of the entire passage immediately. The next day, he returns with a small group to retrieve gear that had been left behind, and to continue into another narrow squeeze passage. Even with other people there, the tunnel is no easier. Tight vertical openings force painful, awkward movement through the rock, with the walls scraping and pressing against them as they push through. The exit section, which the group gives its own name, requires full-body compression just to pass, an unexplained hiss, a foot pinned in place, a passage so narrow it has to be crawled through, but none of it has to be supernatural to be terrifying. The cave does not need a ghost to feel dangerous. So, here's the question. If your light died right when that hissing began and you were alone inside, what would you have done next? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story. Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.